What's happening, guys? It's Trey back again here bringing another video. So I just did a review of Batman the Dark Knight. Decided I would give my thoughts on The Dark Knight Rises, what I expect to see, how good I think it's going to be in between, like maybe, if it's going to be as good as Batman Begins, if it's going to be as good as Batman the Dark Knight, somewhere in between, or, how it's going to be. Also going to be talking about, of course, what we know so far, the teaser trailer, Anne Hathaway playing Catwoman, and Tom Hardy playing Bane, and what I think about them and what I expect to see from this movie. So let's start with Bane. Why not? He's going to be the main villain, probably. Catwoman, maybe sort of like in between a villain and an aide when it comes to fighting Bane with for Batman. Right off the bat, this looks like it's going to be the type of Bane that we saw in the comic books in Nightfall and that kind of stuff, where you have, not like in the cartoons and in the previous movie, Batman and Robin, where Bane is just some huge hulking brute on steroids, basically, Venom steroids, like crazy steroids, to make him super, powerful and strong. Bane from the comic books, he was that. He was insanely physically, strong and just huge. But at this, in addition to that, he was also, very interesting, or a very interesting character psychologically, because he's also brilliant. He has pretty much a photographic memory. He's able to deduce that Bruce Wayne is Batman just by looking at his gait. If you guys don't know, like kids watching or whatever, I don't mean gait as in G-A-T-E. I mean G-A-I-T. In other words, the way a person walks, the way they carry themselves as they're walking. He's able to, deduce that just by looking at the two, he's able to tell that Bruce Wayne is Batman just by seeing it that way. And he pretty much knows right away, and he ends up beating Batman in Nightfall. Due to some conditions, Bruce wasn't, feeling very good mentally anyway, but then Bane systematically beat him, basically. Of course, Batman comes back after, but, yeah, so very, very exciting, comic book storyline, and, definitely something you might want to check out before watching this movie, because it is one of the best Batman storylines ever, and Bane is one of the coolest, Batman characters there is. He's kind of like a big bad to Batman, like in Nightfall, he kind of releases the Joker from Arkham Asylum, and it kind of comes down to who's the bigger threat, and Bane is the bigger threat than the Joker, even though the Joker is always the Joker, right? So it makes sense that he would be in the third movie. He would be the character that's chosen, and of course we have Tom Hardy playing Bane. What do I think about him? Well, so far what I've seen, I think this is a bad casting choice, but granted, Heath Ledger, maybe when we first saw the production stills and stuff, we would have thought, wow, he doesn't really look like the Joker that we know. He looks completely different. Bane, on the other hand, Tom Hardy, he doesn't look big. He's not big enough. He's about 5'10" or 5'11", 170 pounds before he started working out for the filming. Probably, up to about 185 or 190 with, whatever he's taken, or, creatine or water or whatever. 190 pounds, could probably bench about 250, maybe 260 or 70. I don't know, maybe 280. It's hard to say, but to me, Bane just seems like a guy who should be massive. He should be 6'4", 6'5". He should be able to bench 400 pounds. He should just be huge. He should be Arnold, basically, without the accent, But, he should be a monster. He should be bigger. So that's a big complaint of mine right off the bat, is that if you look at the pictures from, the production and that kind of stuff, some of the pictures that were taken from people nearby, to me, he just looks way too small. He's like the same size as Batman, or maybe a little bit shorter, depending. I don't know how the way he films it is obviously going to make a big difference, but I don't know about that. The costume is pretty cool. I don't have a problem with that. I like that they have kind of like the mask thing, and then this part where it would be white on his costume, his mask, is just is his face, his actual face, which works out fine. I think it looks good. It looks fine. I didn't see anything really for the Venom to be injected or anything like that. But maybe that is there. We just don't know it. I did see some kind of like gray vest that he's wearing type thing, which is alright, I guess. It works, whatever. Maybe a bulletproof vest would make sense for him to wear in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I guess that would make sense, And of course, in the teaser trailer, we get to see the scene where he's kind of, walking up from behind, towards Batman, and Batman's kind of getting ready to throw down. So definitely would be exciting to see that. Probably more action scenes, more actual hand-to-hand combat and actual badass fighting that we're going to get to see in this movie, which will be very, very cool. Very different from what we saw in the Dark Knight. I think the reason why Christopher Nolan went away from the Riddler route is because the Riddler, and a lot of times, is very similar to the Joker, maybe too similar. So he wanted to go the other route and go with Bane, who's a very interesting character as well. The choice of putting Catwoman in there too, we don't really know, how that's going to go or what she's going to do. Is she going to be good or bad or kind of somewhere in between, which is what I think will probably happen, which could add to the story and be kind of interesting. Maybe she'll help out, Batman at certain times after he gets beaten by Bane and things like that. Christopher Nolan tends to not have just like one climax in the movie at the end. He tends to have multiple throughout. In this movie, I imagine there'll probably be about 3, maybe even 4, very, very interesting scenes. Kick it off with a bang, introduce the character of Bane, start putting in, scenes with Catwoman, and then have, some big events happen, taper off a little bit with more story, maybe some twists and reveals and stuff, and then bigger scenes happen, then eventually at the end of the climax, and probably a couple characters will die. Gordon maybe, we'll see. We'll see if he makes it. Morgan Freeman's character, who knows, Alfred maybe, that would be a good one. If Alfred went down, that would be very, crazy to see. So, I expect to see something like that, because I know he wants to, Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight has set the bar so high that in order for him to pass that, he's going to have to really, do some crazy stuff. If this is going to be the last film, then, maybe it's a good time to do that with Alfred. That might be a good direction to take to sort of, make this seem like it's really, like he's an even greater foe than the Joker was type thing, which may happen. So I'm absolutely stoked for this. I think it's easily going to be better than Batman Begins for sure. I really like Batman Begins, but the thing about it was a lot of it was, kind of like the introduction of getting started for half the movie as Batman, and then you got to see the really cool stuff come in after. Fantastic movie, amazing. But I feel like Christopher Nolan there, Christian Bale, and the other actors, even Tom Hardy, I guess, this movie and the character of Bane should be way better than Batman Begins. The Dark Knight, I don't know if I can say this is going to be better than The Dark Knight, though. From what I've seen so far, it doesn't look like it. It looks like, now here's what I'll say. If they kill Alfred, okay, or they do something crazy like that, then it might be. Just for the shock and awe value, and because it is a trilogy, so a lot of the stuff from the previous films carries through. The characters carry through, so if something was to happen to one of the characters in the last movie, that would be very shocking and very interesting. So I think that might be something along the lines of what we're going to see here. But better than The Dark Knight, Tom Hardy's performance won't be better than Heath Ledger's performance. I can guarantee you that. But the movie, overall, the scenes and everything and the lines could be just as good as The Dark Knight, maybe better, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to beat The Dark Knight. I mean, that movie was just like the best comic book movie ever. It was just a good movie. I mean, Oscar-winning performance for the Joker, for a comic book character like that. You got comic book movies like Elektra and Daredevil coming out with, I don't even want to get into that, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, you compare it to some of the other stuff out there, and you start to see, how special it really is compared to some of the other comic book movies. Even if you look at Captain America, which was a great movie in my opinion, very good movie, but can you really compare that to The Dark Knight? I mean, come on, you can't even, don't even try, it's ridiculous. So, I'm expecting this movie to probably be better than the Avengers next year, even though that probably will be, a little tough to do since the Avengers do carry a lot of weight with them. But I expect it to be better than that, better than Batman Begins, but not quite as good as The Dark Knight. Very close, though. Anyway, of course, when the movie comes out, I will be doing a review, and I may do another, video talking about it as we get closer to the release date. It's going to be coming out the beginning of next summer. I'm absolutely stoked. I know you guys probably are. Please, by all means, do video responses to this if you want to, get your thoughts out there on what you think the movie's going to be like and how good you think it'll be. Write in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let's talk about it. That's why I do these videos. Love talking to you guys about this stuff. Anyway, that's it for me. So later, guys. See ya.